We welcome you to the Priscilla R. Tyson Conversations and Coffee on this 13th day of the month of March. Today is declared to be National Good Samaritan's Day, the call for us to care for each other. Truly, Denise Romecki is one such person present to us through her caring for us, in sharing her beautiful art, in the design of the creation of her ceramic sculptures. Denise is one of the 3 artists in this exhibit who, through their art, celebrate and care for the earth. Tatiana Habuska, who was with us February 20th, and David Greenberg, who is with us today, anticipating next week's Conversations and Coffee. Denise, you call us to care for the earth through exquisitely created sculptures that surround us. We are delighted to have you with us today to share the beauty of it all. Denise first came to Columbus from Erie, Pennsylvania, and attended the Columbus College of Art and Design, where she received her Bachelor of Fine Arts. It was during that time that she fell in love with ceramics. And she always loved art, but clay was never offered to her in high school. She pursued both ceramics and sculpture, including bronze casting and stone carving at the Columbus College of Art and Design. She then attended The Ohio State University for a graduate school and earned a Master of Fine Arts. She remained active in the arts community, showing and selling her ceramic work. After some searching, Denise shares that she found a position with the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department. It was the start of a long career of teaching art classes for the city. Along with Tracy Steinbrook, Denise started some of the first art programs at the Martin Janis Center when it was newly opened. And then she came to our Cultural Arts Center in 1990. Yay! Denise says that it has been her joy and an honor to work at the Cultural Arts Center. She's met countless wonderful, talented, and interesting people. She enjoys interacting with her students and seeing their own ideas and projects come to life. They're often an inspiration to her work to provide a wonderful mix of backgrounds and styles and artistic interests. Denise, it's been wonderful for us to have you part of the community. We go back, don't we? 1990, here at the Cultural Arts Center, and we truly celebrate your being with us for our Conversations and Coffee. Thank you. Yes. Bravo.
Hello? Okay. Thank you very much, Ellen. And thank you to Ellen for continuing this program for all these years. This has been a great way to get to know other artists.
A joy to be with you.
And thank you all for being here. I get asked a lot about my larger pieces and how those are done. So that's something I thought I would start with. But before I go on to that, I do want to thank the Cultural Arts Center for just being here, for being such a great place. Thank you for helping put the show together. Todd, Lori, Stacy, who's not here today, our wonderful custodian, she was a big help too. And everyone, it's been a wonderful place to work, and I'm really glad I've been able to have a teaching career here. Okay, so these large pieces started with large extruded clay pipe way back in the 90s, early 90s. Logan Clay down in Logan, Ohio, used to offer classes, or not classes, workshops, once a year at the factory. And so I started attending those, and it was a wonderful experience. It was Jerry Kaplan, who was an artist from Pittsburgh, actually had approached the Logan Clay Company and asked, set these workshops up. So it was really a really great opportunity. And I had never worked with such large pieces of clay. So it was that was a whole new thing. So let me see, I should start changing some of these. Okay, so just a brief background. This is at the plant, and they're still in process. They still produce pipe that gets shipped, I think, as far as the Mississippi River is their border there. And they've been in business for 130 years. So they've been around a long time, and their product can last hundreds of years. Clay is very, very enduring, this type of clay that they make. So these are the giant extruders that push out the clay. Everything's kind of computerized now. Some finished product stacked up in the yard. You've probably seen these things all over the city where they're doing construction. And this is just one of their drying rooms, just showing another type of clay pipe that they produce. So this is usually what I would start with. These are 5 to 6 feet tall, and just, the plain pipe. Sometimes they have this bell shape on the bottom, but when it comes out, it's very stiff, so you have to wrap it in wet cloth to soften it up to get it workable. Oh, geez.
No, I just wondered how much one of these weighs.
I would say maybe around 60 pounds, 50 or 60 pounds. Yeah. Well, they are hollow, remember, so, but it's a very thick wall. So this is a piece I was working on 1 year, and just showing how you can manipulate the pipe. And you would soften up other pieces of pipe so that you can cut them and use them to apply, like slabs, big slab pieces. And you can also alter the shape of the pipe by cutting out sections and squeezing them together. And that's after it's fired. Changes color quite a bit. It's that deep earthy orange color.
What are the tools like that you are using to carve this?
Basically, they're like clay tools, but bigger. I might have some pictures. Oh, this is a little video. I have to introduce my partner in life, Mark. He put this together for me. And also, I want to thank him for moving all the stuff all the time. He's my main muscle in getting my sculptures moved around. So thank you. Okay, I'll just let this play. inside the kiln.
Denise, are these examples you've been doing? This is yours.
Yes, this is my piece.
Ah.
Ta-da.
That the factory lets you do this.
Yeah, they don't offer the workshop anymore. When it changed hands, a new president came in, and they stopped doing them. So, but I do have access. I know someone that lets me come and do a little bit, or get some pipe to work on. But yeah, it's not like it used to be. I came across this picture. And this is Memories of the Gulf, the piece in the back there with the turtle. And so this is kind of how it started. And also, since they're big pieces of clay, we work with bigger tools. So I've used like small baseball bats and just, files and scrapers and things that you can get at a hardware store. And then when you get into finer detail, then I would get to my traditional clay tools and work with those.
That piece right there, did you do that part with it? That part there?
Yes.
You want to repeat that? What?
Did I do the whole piece? Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. The finished one is back here.
You're not doing big pieces here, right? What's the biggest piece you could do here?
Well, I could still do big pieces if I do them in sections. And actually, this one here, the Arctic Refuge, that actually comes apart in two pieces, and I can fit those in my kiln. So I was able to do some glazing on that. So as long as things are cut apart, but to do pieces like all in one, I couldn't do that. And those kilns are huge. I mean, they load them with a forklift. Yeah.
How long is the workshop? Is it 1 week or 2 weeks?
It would go for a week to 10 days.
How many pieces would you create during that time period?
Well, when I was, years ago, when I was working like 12 hours a day at it, I could do 3 or 4, depending on how detailed they were. If it was a lot of detail, it would slow me down. And that's just another one of a wolf, and that's just working with the pipe form.
How much would one of those clay pipes cost? Like,
You mean just the pipe itself?
yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
So was it like included in your workshop?
Yeah, you would pay a fee. Yeah. Oh, and again, that's the kiln, or one of the kilns that they have. Oh, and I love this. This is one of their old ones, and it still has those big steel bands around it. And I love how it's kind of being reclaimed by nature. Got plants growing out of the bricks. It's just a really neat look. Oh, and this is in our courtyard outside here. So that's one of the larger pieces that was fired down in Logan.
Do you draw everything out first?
Not always, but a lot of times I have at least a rough sketch, so I kind of have know a little bit where I'm headed, but it usually changes a lot along the way.
Denise, how do you get the color so rich in the clay?
Well, on this one, these are actually glazes. So it's just the type of glaze I chose. Usually I use a lot of underglaze, which is a little different. But you can get some pretty bright colors with glazing.
Well, the color is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
So this piece, and this is an ongoing thing with the Arctic Wildlife Refuge and the whole controversy about drilling. So that's what inspired me to do this piece. And I chose to do it in the shape of an old oil rig. And because it made such a nice monumental shape. So that's one of the reasons I chose it. And also to show the animals that might be impacted, you know, by if we get into drilling and drilling for oil out in these pristine places. So the back of the piece, I don't know if I have a picture of the back, is just there is nothing on the back of it, which is kind of to show what we would lose and how bleak things would be, you know, without these animals in this wilderness. This piece also, my work is very environmental, and you know, I care a lot about the loss of habitat, endangered species. But this piece is closer to home. This is called junk mail, and it's you know, a stack of just junk mail. You know how it piles up in your mailbox, and the treetop is actually real paper, like the junk mail kind of torn up and attached to the top. So it kind of takes over our life sometimes. And this one is called A Delicate Balance. And again, it's just that, you know, every animal has its place in nature. And this is a big piece. It's with to the top, it's at least 5 feet. And it does come apart. The elephant was made from the pipe clay, so he's a big guy. Well, so are the antelopes. And then the bird is made from a stoneware clay, so it's a little more delicate.
Any wire in like the antlers or any of the, I mean, how do you worry that they might break?
Yeah, the
Do you want to
antlers.
repeat that question, Denise?
Oh, she asked if there was any wire or supports in the like the antlers or the delicate parts, and there isn't. The antlers are just clay, but I do have like this long skinny leg here. There's a metal rod that goes up and it goes down into the head, and I can pull it out, so it's easier to move. And then I use something like epoxy sculpt, which is an epoxy, like you can handle it like clay, but you don't have to fire it, and it's very strong. So I put that around the wire and then attach it and blend it into the bird. And then there's also a metal rod going through this vine form and down into the elephant.
Where do you get your ideas from? Because obviously the elephant, but then these two are standing like humans, so I wonder how you come up with those ideas.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just
Again, let's all hear that. Want to repeat that?
Where do I get the ideas for the animals I use and how? Well, I don't know. I'm sometimes just attracted to the beauty of them. I look at a lot of pictures, watch nature shows, and also I don't know if any of you have been to the wilds in Southeast Ohio. That's 10,000 acre preserve. It's one of the biggest in the world. But the animals are just running free, and to see them in motion and how graceful they are. That's, influences me too. And it's like, how can I put them together to kind of make a point, or to show that beauty and how special it is. Oh, and this guy, yeah, I have a soft spot for rhinos. I don't know, I have a few of them here, and I've done more. This is called Last Sanctuary, and I was really, really moved by the dwindling numbers of rhinos in the wild. That was really upsetting to me, and this is a few years ago. And I've always liked them just because they're this majestic animal that are so powerful. And it's just, a shame that it would be poached and killed just for the horn. So this is kind of paying homage to the rhinoceros and also their shrinking habitat. So the inside of the tree, as you've probably seen, is, this whole little environment with the elephants and hippos and, I don't know, some antelopes, zebras, giraffes.
Your work with the clay is so amazing. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
What
Thank you.
surrounds the center?
I've always loved texture, and I love working with clay. It's just a pleasure.
Do you create that method around the the circular on the outside of the circle? Do you create that?
Well, yeah, I tried to, to give it the appearance of just a tree, like when you're looking at it from a distance, and then it's a little bit of a surprise when you come up to it and, see this whole environment inside of it.
It's beautiful.
Well, it's right there in the show, so I don't remember the measurements, maybe like 20, 24 inches. Yeah. And another rhino. This was called Encroachment, and this is about human habitat taking over the natural habitats. So we have like a little town or village here, and crops being planted, and so the land needs to be cleared for farming. And then the rhino with his majestic horn, just wanting to survive. Okay, then this was influenced by Hurricane Sandy a few years back that hit the East Coast. It was the worst hurricane on the Atlantic side, and did a lot of damage all along the coast. New York City was flooded, the subways were flooded, and so I was thinking about all that and the weather changing and so many storms hitting the United States. So this is like a giant kind of cyclone, and the globe, the earth, just kind of floating in the middle of it, like that we are at the mercy of the elements, if we don't take care of our planet.
There's a question here, Joe.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, there it is.
I got a couple questions.
Yes.
World class talent, obviously. Have you exhibited all over the world? Is it regionally? How do you exhibit?
Well, I've been in shows around the country. I'm in a gallery in the Short North. Art is still alive in the Short North, by the way. Not all the galleries are gone. And I belong to a gallery up in my hometown, which is Erie, Pennsylvania. I have 3 of these wave kind of related pieces that were purchased for a Tokyo hotel for a new Hilton that they built. So I have 3 pieces in Tokyo. and I've also had requests where I've made wave pieces, and I'll show you a lot more of those, for as awards that companies give out to their employees. So,
Knowing the quality of work you do, you teach here, right?
yes.
That's a gift for us. Do you feel like your voice is being spread? I mean, do your students pick up on your message? You teach them technique and you teach them some things about creativity, but do you feel like they're also getting involved with the activism that's needed today? Can you relate to that?
In the activism, in what regard?
In regard to helping save the planet, helping to, this voice to me is talking about how we as humanity are destroying our environment. Okay, we're encroaching on animals, we're doing things that we possibly could pull back on and let live. I'm not saying that right, but okay.
Well, I think I can't speak for everyone in my classes, but I think they're definitely aware. And because of the kind of work I do with my art, because a lot of my students have done very similar environmental things, animals, things like that, landscape. So I hope, and I preach to them now and then, especially about butterflies, which I'll talk about.
Very preachy, Denise.
I'm not very preachy. That's my longtime student, Bob. He's known me a long time.
Very gentle.
Oh. Okay, so this is a piece, not everything I do is a real serious thing. So these wave pieces and some of the tree things, I do just for the pleasure of doing it and to show off the beauty of nature. So this is a wave piece that the flip side of it, the other side of it is a tree form. So, yeah.
Started using those pipes. You're not using pipes here. How do you get your initial form? Are you slabbing and then rolling it on something? Or?
Yes, I do that. I do wheel work, but I don't do anything on the potter's wheel really for my sculpture. I'll do slabs, like rolling a slab to create a cylinder. But I also just hand build and just keep building up the clay, pinching it, seeing where it goes. Yeah, I'm a little more free form with these.
Thank you, Deb, for that. I was just going to ask, because the shape is so gorgeous. And
Well,
you're really following your own imagination.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, gorgeous.
Yeah, and for pieces like this, I might just take a chunk of clay and just, work with my hands, just pushing it and stretching it, to kind of get a more spontaneous kind of flow to it. And of course, it won't stand up when the clay is wet. So you have to, give it a resting time, let it firm up, before you can start trying to stand it up and work all around it. Yeah.
How do you know when you've gotten too far? I know it was your roller, but I don't think you can stretch the clay so much before it gets out more on one side. So how do you know the limits?
Do you want to repeat that too?
Yeah, the question was, how do I know how far I can stretch it or push it without something happening? Well, all I can say is the clay lets you know. It will collapse, or if you stretch it too far in the kiln, it might, settle down. So it's experience, basically. I've done enough, and then you do one thing and you push it and say, oh well, that one worked. Let's see if I can push it a little more next time. And So just kind of, and then I learned how to kind of just build in little support areas where I think it might warp or, yeah, warp. So it's just doing it over and over. And here's just another one. And these kind of come in between, like I'll do some more involved, detailed piece, maybe say more serious. And then I'll take a break and do some of these waves. I love to do them. They're really fun for me. Okay, then this is getting back to some plant life here. This was a pipe piece, so it's a real tall one. And I think this is invasive species. Anyway, so this is when I'm using, I don't know if you can tell, the flower on that are human hands that are coming out creating the flower. So it was it's my way of showing human interaction or interference with nature. And
The
using
flower
that
looks like
hand.
glass.
Like what?
It looks like glass.
Oh, just
From here,
the
just-
coloring.
Yeah, oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, and this is the one that's by the front door. And the same thing, the human hands coming out the top, creating that floral effect. And this one is called butterfly seeds. So again, thinking of shrinking habitat, losing habitat, what other ways would creatures live? How would they reproduce? So I don't know, I was just thinking about what if they were seeds that grew, that just came out of a pod. And also, the pieces I have around the corner here, the little seeds, the animal seeds, that's what was the same idea, is thinking of genetic engineering and how humans have, interfered with plant life and animal life. And so what if we started growing animals, from seeds in these, little tiny environments? And anyway, so that's where all that came from. And they're kind of like bean shaped. And this one, paying homage to our pollinators. So this was a big wall piece, and it shows, a few different butterflies, no particular ones. I just kind of made those up, and got a caterpillar and a bee at the top. And also, I don't know if you noticed, the flower part are human hands that are coming out, creating the flower. So it's like, we need pollinators. Yeah. Oh, good question. Yeah, they are my hands in all my pieces. So actually what I did, I went ahead and made molds of my hands. And then I press the clay in, and then, while the clay is soft, I can shape them different ways. So yeah, they're all mine. Oh, there's close up. And again, this is kind of like the waveforms, but using trees and tree bark and creating forms and vessels. So, and then I just try, really pushing how much motion can I get in a piece, because waves, they're all about motion, movement, and energy. Another tree bark. And then those are hands also, not as easy to see in that one. But I did a series of pieces using the hands a lot. Here they're holding up a nest. And these were wall pieces. And again, those are human hands. So still, when I look at these and see the flow of the leaves and everything, it still makes me think of the waves, you know, like everything's kind of connected. Okay, I put some other pictures in of things that influenced me and I enjoy. This is in my backyard. Yeah, this is when it's looking good, when it's at its peak. So I've had a pond in the yard for years, 20 years. And I love it. It's beautiful. It attracts, you know, so many little critters and.
Is it Erie?
No, this is in Columbus and Clintonville. So that's just another picture. But I loved it. It's just so cool to see, you know, what shows up, you know, and dragonflies and toads.
The work of you and your mate creating that?
Yes.
Okay. Very nice job.
Yeah, Mark, do you have anything to say here? Respond.
Yeah.
Co-creator here.
Roz, every kind of creature we don't want in the backyard.
That's, yeah. Okay.
You want to repeat what Mark said for everyone?
It attracts every creature you don't want. Is that what you said? Well, you'll see what he means as I go on. Of course, this is just some of the flower garden. And can you see that? That's a baby fawn. So speaking of attracting wildlife, we had twins born in the yard a couple years ago. And mom would leave them and they would just curl up somewhere and you'd be walking by and it's like, oh my God, there's this little fawn curled up. They were so beautiful, but they grow up. Yeah, so I mean, this is in my backyard. I mean, it's so cool. Except they eat the flowers. Okay, these are milkweed. This is milkweed. And I went to a lecture a few years ago about the monarch butterfly and learned that their population declined like 90% in 10 years. I mean, it was like, what? You know, and that, like with the rhinos, you know, it was one of those things that really touched me. And I was amazed how much I didn't know before. So I started planting milkweed, and they came. I would find eggs out on the leaves, and of course these are the caterpillars. But I would collect the leaves that had the eggs and raise them in a container, because otherwise predators get them very quickly. So I felt like I was doing my little part. There's some controversy now about raising the butterflies indoors, raising the monarchs, and the caterpillars. But if you try to do it, keep them outside as much as possible so that they're exposed to natural daylight and the temperatures and everything. So I just try to protect them from predators. And it's amazing to watch them go through the process. And in the last day or so, the chrysalis turns clear like that. And they're so beautiful. Has anybody raised butterfly? Okay, so you guys know.
And Bev Goldie, you had one of the most beautiful exhibits with the monarch butterfly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'll have to talk to you about that. And some of the chrysalises. So when I first started doing this, which was about 6 years ago, maybe 7, I had up to like 300 eggs that I'd find and then, you know, raise them and then release them. But I tell you, over the years, it's really gone down. It's been very sad. And it's, again, environmental impacts, too many pesticides, loss of habitat, farming.
Herons eat your fish?
Yes, we've had herons. Yeah, I don't have pictures of them, but yeah, they come. Okay, another flower with the hands. And this is a piece I did. It was influenced by the monarch butterflies. This is still in my studio. This was called the Monarch Way Station. Nope, that's still the wet clay, and that's the finished piece. And I don't know if you can tell, the leaves on it's a milkweed plant, but I made the leaves into hands also. So it's like, you know, we're always connected, humans and the nature, wildlife. Pardon me?
The hand mold or plaster mold?
Of my hands, the ones, yes, yeah. But these I just free-formed because they're real elongated. Yes, exactly. Because I don't know if you know that the monarch butterfly migrates to Mexico every fall, like a couple thousand miles. So that's kind of like trying to tell the story there. Oh, and just, you know, more nature, fungus growing on logs, kind of things I look at and can collect. And some tree forms. And those are still living trees, and they're hollowed out. These are over in Whetstone. And some driftwood up on Lake Erie. Okay, this is called Wisdom and Longevity. And a few years ago, can't remember the exact year, this tortoise was known as Lonesome George and was the last of his species on Pinta Island in the Galapagos. And the day he died was really a sad day. It was like the end of that species. And again, I thought I was moved to do something to honor him. So this is Lonesome George, and with a very old tree. He was over 100 years old, they figure. And that little angel-type creature at the top is kind of like an owl and a human, kind of like a guardian. Oh, my garden. And if you don't have milkweed in your yard, plant some. I mean, the flowers are gorgeous too, and all the pollinators love them. And if you get swamp milkweed, it won't take over your yard. It stays in a nice clump. And butterfly weed, also in the milkweed family. Those taller plants, that's common milkweed. Those are the ones that are real aggressive. And you plant one and it'll eventually take over. And this is releasing one of the butterflies. One of the caterpillars getting ready to become a chrysalis. Oh, and this is a piece I did, I was intrigued with the shapes of chrysalises, different ones from different butterflies. And well, this is one that's kind of one I made up, but showing a little bit of some monarch butterfly in there. And back to the waves. This is a wall piece. Just again, trying to capture some motion and energy.
Denise, you mentioned Galapagos, how I say that?
Galapagos.
Yes. My granddaughter at Otterbein just got like a ongoing scholarship to go there.
Wow.
And her major is in zoology. So
How
I have to tell you,
wonderful.
I was so excited when you said that I heard to look up more about Galapagos.
Yeah, I've never been there. I would
Uh-huh.
love to go sometime.
Well, you and she can
yeah.
talk after she gets back.
Okay.
The movement is so amazing. That's gorgeous. Ah. And that comes from your imagination, really. You don't
Yes. yeah.
necessarily draw it. And
No,
So
no, these I just
just
kind of
happens.
start working and kind of move the clay around until I come up with an attractive shape or motion. Yeah.
How you get the froth? I know how, but can you tell us how you get the froth on the waves?
Yeah. I brought pieces that you can come up and look at of a couple in process and then a finished one. But yeah, the white part is porcelain. I start with brown stoneware clay to build the shape, and because it has more body, it's a little stronger, and then add the porcelain on top of that, and the using little crumbs of the dry porcelain and mixing it in with slip. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're fired, well, it's the same temperature. Well, there is some that's a higher temperature. This is a cone 5, which is the same as the stoneware I used.
The foam has the same feeling of the corals that are getting bleached as well. But
Yeah.
there's a feeling for me in all of these coral, even though I know it's the edge of the wave.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sometimes I think too about the coral. Yeah.
You've been doing this for a while, not probably as old as the coral, your skill level, but at this level of work you're doing, would you say you've done this for 20, 30 years at least? Or?
At least. a little longer.
You went to college to do?
Yeah, I didn't touch clay until I went to Columbus College of Art and Design. My high school did not have a good art program back in Erie, so it opened up a lot of doors for me. And like, wow, and I just fell in love with clay. Oh, here's my monarch. This is one in the show here. So the one side showing a milkweed plant and got a little caterpillar on there. And the other side is a pine, like pine tree. It's an Oyamel pine. And those are the trees that they overwinter in Mexico, up in the hills in central Mexico. So I wanted to show that other environment where they spend the winter. Because I think some people look at that and wonder, why is there a tree on there?
That's just the one.
And this is the other butterfly piece before it was fired. This is also that pipe clay. And so it's very coarse. And that's why these butterflies are like, big, husky guys. You can see how gritty it is. because there's almost like little stones in it.
Left some raw areas to it without glaze.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because the clay itself is beautiful. And that's the finished piece. And again, using that hand image in there. And another chrysalis kind of piece with a little curious lizard. And another chrysalis, but this one, you know, it's when the cicadas were all coming out, and everybody was talking about the 17-year cicadas, and he's not an actual cicada, but it's that idea, and like this is his time in the sun. And another seed pod form with a little caterpillar.
Just one piece at a time?
No, I always have a few things going, because with clay, you do so much when it's wet, and then you have to, you know, let it sit and firm up before you can move on to doing carving or adding things to it. So, I don't know, I can have as many as, well, 3, 4, possibly 5. And there's just another wave idea, but using a tree form. Yeah, that's my owl nest.
Have you ever had anything like explode in the kiln?
Yes.
You want to repeat
Sure.
that for?
Not a lot, but yeah, that's sure. You know, it doesn't matter how many years you've been doing ceramics, it can happen.
Master of repair.
Yeah. Oh, and these guys, this is almost kind of more whimsical, but I'm just drawn to like the sea turtle and the owl. They're just powerful animals symbolically. So I called these guys the protectors, so like the protectors of the environment. And he has human hands and cradling the tree. And again, that powerful owl form. This kind of has to do with wildfires a little bit, and you know, again, losing habitat. But at least with fires, it comes back. You know, it takes time, but things grow back. Oh, the babies were growing up.
It's wonderful how you welcome them into your yard.
I know. I thought, I was just like so tickled that they wanted to, yeah, that they had the babies in our yard. You know, they're just like, but you know, it's a love-hate relationship because
that's
they
helpful,
can
'cause
do some damage.
We have 2 little Havanese puppies, and on occasion 6 to 7 deer across our yard. And I just say now, shh, it's okay, it's okay.
Do they chase them?
No, they don't. I have them on a leash, the doggy's on a leash.
Okay.
To befriend them as you are is a challenge.
Well, Mark goes out and chases them with a giant water gun. Chase them away. In Beachwald, I live on Garden Road. You're what?
I live in West Bend.
Oh, you're kind of close by. Do you have deer there? Oh.
They come up from, I'm just 2 doors up from North. I'm just 2 doors up from the river in the park.
Okay.
And the word is out, to come to my address, I have great plants. They all come and eat.
Uh-huh. Smorgasbord. Studios on High Gallery. Just want to, I reassure you, there is still art in the short north. Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's in the window there. And that's sunset over Lake Erie, up in my hometown. And sunset over Garden Road. And that's it.
Thank you. And number 2 for the earth. And we have David Greenberg. Let's stand up, David. His wife, Susan. The 3rd for the earth. And
Yes.
a very special. And Tatiana. Where's Tatiana? Where are you?
Tatiana, stand up.
Oh, great to see you.
So
Many-
Tatiana did all the beautiful botanicals.
Yes, yes. A very special time, and thank you for you, Denise.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me.
Oh, it's wonderful.